In this video, we will be talking about web and its architecture to get a clear picture of its elements. The World Wide Web is a repository of information linked together from all over the world. The web has a unique combination of flexibility, portability, and user-friendly features that distinguish it from other services provided by the Internet. In the previous lecture, we learned about its history and where it started. The web today is a distributed client-server service in which a client using a browser can access a service provided by a server. The service is distributed over many locations called sites. Each site holds one or more documents referred to as web pages. Each web page can contain a link to other pages in the same site or at other sites. The pages can be viewed by browsers. Now let's go through the scenario shown in this figure to see how web works. The client needs to see some information that it knows belongs to site A. It sends a request through its browser to the server. The request includes the address of the site and the web page called the URL. The server at site A finds the document and sends it to the client. When the user views the document, he finds some references to other documents, including a web page at site B. The reference has the URL for the new site. The user is also interested in seeing this document. The client sends another request to the new site and the new page is retrieved. Each browser usually consists of three parts: a controller, client, protocol, and interpreters. The controller receives input from the keyboard or mouse and uses the client programs to access the document. After the document has been accessed, the controller uses one of the interpreters to display the documents on the screen. The client protocols can be HTTP, FTP, SMTP, and etc. A client that wants to access a web page needs the URL, which is a standard for specifying any kind of information on the internet. The URL defines four things: protocol, host, computer port, and path. The protocol is the client-server program used to retrieve the document. Many protocols can retrieve a document, such as FTP and HTTP. The most common today is HTTP. The host is the computer on which the information is located. Web pages are usually stored in computers known as hosts. The URL can optionally contain the port number of the server. Path is the path name of the file where the information is located. The documents in web can be grouped into three broad categories: static, active, and dynamic. The category is based on the time at which the contents of the documents are created. Static documents are fixed content documents that are created and stored in a server. The client can get only a copy of the document. In other words, the contents of the file are determined when the file is created, not when it is used. Hypertext Markup Language, HTML, is a language for creating web pages. Active documents. For many applications, we need a program or a script to be run at the client side. These are called active documents. Suppose we want to run a program that creates animated graphics on the screen or a program that interacts with the user. The program definitely needs to be run at the client side where the animation or interaction takes place. When a browser requests an active document, the server sends a copy of that document or script. The document is then run at the client side. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are used to develop static and active documents. In this course, we will focus on these programming languages. A dynamic document is created by a web server whenever a browser requests the document. When a request arrives, the web server runs a script that creates the dynamic document. The server returns the output of the script as a response to the browser that requested the document. Because a fresh document is created for each request, the contents of a dynamic document can vary from one request to another. A very simple example of a dynamic document is the retrieval of the time and date from a server. ASP.NET, PHP, and JSP are used to develop dynamic web documents. Hypertext Transfer Protocol (HTTP) is a protocol used mainly to access data on the World Wide Web.